Oh, thoughts on Bookborn, parcel and letter from George containing work not available. I'd never heard of. You got much love from the big man? No, I've never gotten that love. Well, when you say like unavailable, it's like out of print stuff. But like, I either have or have found everything that like George has written. So like, I've read it too. Bookborn and I will be talking. We'll be talking and having doing a video relatively soon in the next couple of weeks on her favorite and least favorite George R. R. Martin stories and my favorite and least favorite George R. R. Martin stories. And what's funny is that some of the stories, it'll be a really great video because some of the stories on my favorite are on her least favorite list. And and some of my favorite, I wouldn't say are her. Oh yeah. Some of her favorites. No, I still like all of her favorites, but like some of the favorites on my list are like are on her least favorite list. So it should be a really fun discussion. So it should be pretty cool.
I
But
haven't seen her list, but I would imagine Meat House Man would be like her least favorite.
yes, yes. You've guessed one. Yeah, yes. Meat House
Well,
Man
yeah,
is one
because
of her least
holy,
favorite stories, and it's one of my favorite stories. Yeah.
really, Jesus Christ, I don't know if
Yeah.
I would admit that, but for
No,
those
no,
of
no,
you
no.
who
I
are,
mean, the when I don't want to like spoil everything we're going to be talking about, but like Meat House Man, I think there's just a lot of dark truth to how the human brain works, and um, and a very interesting like social commentary being made there, and it's just such a gut punch. Like it's such a gut punch to like remember like and have that like just be like, oh god, that's just like harsh. And I'm not taking like it's not like shocking in a like shock for the sake of shock, like in a human centipede kind of way, like a sick, gross kind of like thing like that. But it's there's real emotion, real human emotion in that story. And I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of women where it's their favorite story. So
really, well, because I was
yeah.
gonna say, for those of you who don't know, Meat House Man, basically in far future, this guy goes to this brothel where there's like a woman on the bed, and she's pretty. Is she dead, or is she just like that's
The
just her job
body
and
is
like the
alive, but their brains have been removed, and they have like a machine, puppet machine in there.
right. And
Yeah.
the machine like connects their body, their brain, their psychic to your like brain kinda, and it like
Hmm.
meshes. So it's like you have sex with this um essentially lifeless, not lifeless, but like this woman.
Yeah. They call them
And it's like
corpses, right? Yeah.
right, and it's like this perfect like experience for the person engaging in the act. I would imagine like that's just fucking disgusting to women. That's just disgusting. Like why the fuck?
Well,
But
he
we're
thought
men,
it
we're gross.
right. Well, he thought it was disgusting too once he found out the truth, the character. Because like, so the story
Right.
begins. He's a corpse handler, where they live in this universe where like to do a lot of work, they've got like bodies that are controlled by computers, but the bodies are still there. And so he telepathically is able to like move other bodies into dangerous environments with his mind and have them do the work. So he can have like 5 corpses and he's like telepathically moving them all so they can do more efficient work. And so afterwards, like they go to the whorehouse and they decide to, he decides to have sex with one of them. And he's thinking that there's a corpse handler on the other end and that he's having sex with a corpse handler. It's just that that person is puppeting the corpse. And then afterwards he gets laughed at and they're like, dude, like it taps into your own subconscious. You were puppeting it. And he's like, oh fuck. Like that's really gross. Like he felt like
And then
he
he
was just
tries to have a normal relationship with like a normal woman, and it's
yeah.
just he can't stop going back to the fucking to the brothel. Like he just
No, 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 no,
like
no, no, no. He vows at the beginning of the story that he will never go back to the brothel, and then
but he
we
does.
then we go through his failed relationships. He has his two
Hmm.
failed relationships, and then we get back to at the end. he's now back with he's not just having sex with her, he's like puppeting her around as his girlfriend
Right.
at the end of the story. So he doesn't like he like
But
swears
he
them off.
comments.
He swears them off, has two bad experiences with real women, and then decides in the end he's just gonna fucking like have
But
his
I remember
girlfriend be a
specifically
puppet.
him commenting that it's not as good as going to the brothel. I remember that specifically. And of course,
Yeah.
like women are not gonna they're not gonna like they're not gonna like that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
but I
gross.
mean the whole thing is about like um I mean it's really dark and there and like but this idea of like when you look for a mate, like there's so many different statements being made. Like when you look for a mate, do you want like a trad wife who's just your puppet, or do you want like a woman with a real brain? And the thing is
Mm.
like when you want a woman with a real brain, like, yeah, there's a lot of baggage. It's hard to fucking deal with another human being who can break your heart, who can have like, who you can get in fights, that you can have difficulties with. But like that's what love is, like you've got it's incredibly difficult, and like the but like at the same time being with some like trad wife that you just control, like that's just masturbation. Like there's nothing, that's not a connection with another human being. That's not love, you know? And so like it's so many like dark, important statements he's making in the story about like um about how hard like love is, but at the same time, like it's the only like engaging with another human being on an equal level that you respect is the only way to deal with the loneliness of life. Like so. I mean, in a sense, like it's hard when you read the story, but Meat House Man is an extremely feminist story.
Hmm.
Because you're
Is
you're
it?
shrugging off like the woman that you can just control. Like the character obviously chooses the trad wife in the end, who's just masturbation in the end. But like, you know, it was really and failed. He failed to get a real relationship. But like the hope is like for regular people that they find an equal, that they don't just, you know, go to sex workers and um, yeah, yeah.
That's such a weird commentary now, considering like how so many women consider themselves to be trad wives, and you don't know if it's like legit or they're just being a pick me.
Oh,
Like,
none of those are legit. Like those people online. I mean, it's a contradiction, right? Like, if you're a trad wife, if you're pretending to be a trad wife online and making a bunch of money, you and I know exactly how much work goes into being an influencer, right?
mm,
That's a
hmm
career. You're not a trad wife at that point. You're like not you have a career, so you're not that. Like so it's weird. There's some interesting articles about how people claim they want a trad wife, but actually when you talk to the same people, they also see unworking women as freeloaders. Because remember, conservatives are obsessed with freeloaders and how everybody's a fucking freeloader. And wouldn't I love to sit around all day at home like doing nothing? Um, and so like they resent and are angry at trad wives anyway. Like so it's all weird and
Yet they
gross,
want
mythological.
a trad wife, which
They
is
say
weird.
they want a trad wife, but at the same time, when you ask them
Hmm.
about trad wives and dealing with them, they think of them as freeloaders because they don't have a job. You know,
In this economy, bro, it's better if both parties are working.
that
Crazy.
well, that's what I'm saying. So you can't have a trad wife.